Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio Railworld, where we are on the final leg of our journey to build a rail line around the Great Lake. The end is at this point in sight, and we have more than enough supplies to punch through the remaining barrier of biters and complete our mapping of this ridiculously long coastline. So we'll do some resupplying and getting rid of our excess bits of wood and alien artifacts and random stuff, and then we'll see about getting into battle with the biters that are currently sort of blocking the end of our rail line. Just checking the map, seeing what the situation is. Everything looks fine back in the main base. The trains are running. There's no biters attacking. They have advanced a little bit, but we'll be able to deal with that once we get home. So I deploy a bunch of bots and go running in, trying to take out a base, and immediately get nearly killed because I forgot to change power suits. I was perhaps a little bit too eager and got ahead of myself there. So it'll take a second to deal with the all the behemoths that are chasing us now. This base is now a little bit harder to kill because there's quite a few angry biters spawning in it, but we'll change power suits, get the right one, and give it another shot. We've already got half it dealt with anyway, and we'll easily mow down the remaining. So if I say easily, we get down to half shields again, but it's not too bad. This time around, we don't have to start running for our lives or anything. And of course, whenever you have the light power suits, once things get a little bit difficult, you start running out of battery power, and then suddenly you're going really slow, and there's no point in having the light power suit equipped anyway. So we'll have a quick look along the coastline. We're about to map the final section of the coast. There's about 3 lines of radar left to scan, and we'll close it in about 3, 2... There it is! We have now mapped the entirety of the Great Lake, or its coastline anyway. We've still got the internals to do, and we'll do that with a couple of radars a little bit later on. For now, there's a few more biter bases to deal with before we finally have a clear shot to Iron Outpost 2, and then we'll work it out from there. Though, now that we're so close to it, and I'm trying to get done as quickly as possible, I keep sort of randomly switching when it's a bad time to, like, gathering artifacts. I keep running back as soon as I've taken out a base, and immediately picking up all the alien goo, and I've still got a bunch of bots that are equipped and ready to fight. But yes, we're running into the middle of this one. There's a couple of times where the bots sort of, like, they all die at once, and I have a little bit of trouble there. There's an interesting point later on where I actually am running out of bots as I'm killing a base, and it comes a little bit close, but we managed to make it. But yes, running back now. This time I was clever about it, and once all the bots ran out, I switched back to artifact gathering mode, and then we'll bring the train forward a little bit more, and we'll finally have a rail line going due east for a time along the southern edge of, well, the southern edge of this section of the lake. The actual southern edge of the lake is a very long way away. We dealt with that a very long time ago when we were making our way towards the Megacopper base, as it became known as. So we'll have a quick run around the sort of edges of this bit here, get as much scan as possible. There are a couple of islands that are out of our reach at the moment. We'll get a better scan of those later on. Some more artifacts down here, and we're very much diverging now from the path that we took when we were coming around the first time. Also, a couple of random spitters just hanging around there. We'll deal with those. There's some behemoths, but you can just deal with those with the shotgun without too much difficulty. But yes, at this point we're on a completely different path to where we were going at the end of our first trip around the lake, because we just completely left the coastline, and the coastline started going straight to the east, and we just carried on going south or southeast. But yes, we're now lining up the rails for the south. Well, the line at the southernmost point of this bit of the lake, the northern bit, the south of the north. I don't know what to call it. And this will run along until it splits off and makes its way towards Iron Outpost 2. And I think I will have a Megatrain bypass to prevent the Megatrain having to run through the middle of the main rail network, because I feel like that will not go well. The only issue with that is that any bypass will probably be longer than the route you would take if you were just going along the main network. So what I'll have to do is put a station like halfway along it, named like Megatrain Bypass, and it will have to be timetabled to go to it so that it actually stops there and considers that the best route to get to its ultimate destination. But that's all something that we can work out later on. Right now we're just trying to get this final bit done. We are very close now. There's just like this very thin line of biter bases left between us and home, and I think we're making our way back up to the train to continue with the rail work. And conveniently, like 2 different sections of the lake line up perfectly, so the tangent I don't know, I keep sort of explaining badly how I sort of line up the rails. So basically I'm making it so that it touches the edge of the lake where it can. And this one sort of does it twice. Usually you just end up like passing it by once, but this one sort of... the lake gets very, very sort of straight at this particular point, except for a couple of little bits sticking out here and there, which is quite nice. But yes, we will bring along the Megatrain, and here we are now on a horizontal for the first time in a while. I mean, we were going west before, but the last time we went east was like 20 episodes ago or something crazy like that. But yes, we can very easily mow down the forest, make our way through there, and at this point, it's probably better to start working from the main network itself and work out how to line all that up right. So we've resupplied, we've set the train to visit a station, should we want to call it in. But that's unlikely because at the moment the rails have only gone up to just in front of where the Megatrain is anyway. But yes, this is the final wall of biters. Sort of making my way south a bit. I've got a lot more to the south mapped, but I'm just going to ignore that because it's not important. We very nearly got killed there, perhaps got a little bit overzealous. I'm spamming a lot of bots now to just get through it all. We end up running a little bit low. It sort of gets a little bit hairy for a second, but actually I think we still have like a stack left or something. So that's pretty fine. But yes, this one, I think with this one, yep, there it is. That is the radar outpost, the most northwest radar outpost we have. But now we just need to go back and clear up a couple of biter bases right up in the north here. And with that we'll be done. There'll be no more biters to deal with in the journey. At that point it's just a case of putting in all the remaining rails. So there we go, and just in time just in time we blew up the bases before all of our bots blew up themselves. But there we go, it's clear, we're good. Now what we need to do is actually connect this up to Iron Outpost 2. So we'll make our way down there. We'll quickly gather some, all the remaining artifacts. I think that is everything. I'm getting a little bit, I'm eager to get down there as quickly as possible, so I perhaps don't scan the area as much as I should for discarded alien artifacts, but that's fine. We've got literally millions of them. We've got, I think, nearly 2 steel chests full at this point, which I think will keep us supplied for pretty much anything we ever want to do. We could make millions of portable fusion reactors, and then maybe make a giant fusion reactor and just have infinite power for forever or something. That'd be cool. I don't think we need more power sources in this game that have like various other negative effects. Like ground pollution is going to become a more sort of important thing in future. I think at the moment it's just sort of an aesthetic thing of showing you the destruction you're like. Actually, is there even ground? I don't think ground pollution is a proper thing yet, but you do get ground pollution from placing flooring and things like that. By the way, we're in Iron Outpost 2 now. I sort of forgot to mention that, but I just did a little bit of maintenance because can't help but deal with any of the shutdown miners as soon as I arrive. But now I want to sort out the point where this network meets the other network, or I guess meets itself, because at the end of the day this is one giant loop going all the way around this ridiculous thing. Possibly the longest journey anyone has ever... Well, actually, I'm sure the people have done ridiculously long journeys in Factorio before with like rail laying mods and things like that. Just leave a train running and see how far it goes and stuff like that. But before we get the connection set up, I do want to do a little bit of tweaking with the layout of the loop over here, which is going to shut down the trains for a minute, but that's fine. We'll just let that happen. It's not like there's much going on in the main base right now. There's probably a little bit of production going on in terms of like destroyer drones and things like that, but I think a couple of trains not delivering iron for like 2 minutes is not going to cause any sort of problem. So what I'm doing is moving the entire loop along by one, and what that means is that there'll be a little bit of a gap between the station and the loop itself that we can like make a little bit more use of. It just makes things more flexible for future reference. And then we'll extend the line of it as we were going to do before. Even if we were to tweak the loop later, it'd still line up fairly well. We just need to mess about slightly with the positions of the curves that sort of branch off from it. So that won't be too much of a problem. But I think this is sort of the final design I'll do for this, and it's something I should have done when I was originally setting it up. And it's something I should have done on the other end as well when I was originally setting up Iron Outpost 2. And the reason is that it makes it a little bit easier in terms of setting up outposts, because you can put gates on straight sections that don't have anything going on in them. And the design as it was did not have any space where I could put gates in, apart from in the middle of where the trains would be parked normally, which was no use. So we've made a little bit more room. It allows us to put the gates in, we can make the outpost a little bit more secure, because at the moment, with the diagonal rails going out, there's now 2 huge gaps in the wall, which aren't so great if, for example, a huge horde of biters turns up from the west that are angry with me for destroying all of their homes. Though that never did happen in that original run. I'm wondering if that's changed now, because a lot of updates have happened in terms of biter pathing and stuff like that, which might mean that they don't get deleted when otherwise it would have been. So it might be that if I was to do the same run nowadays, there would be a huge horde of millions of biters following me, and they actually would all arrive in Iron Outpost 2 and possibly overwhelm it with just their ridiculous numbers. But we're fine. We've just destroyed everything as we go, rather than devolving to just running for our lives, which is a little bit more difficult when you have a train. Well, unless there's already track in place, in which case it's really easy. But yes, we are now extending our line up. We're having it too wide for a minute just so that we can get a passing point in place should one be needed. A little bit of room for the Megatrain to let anything else pass, or anything else to let the Megatrain pass for that matter. And then we'll go down to a single line and go from there. And as we go along later on, we'll add in some proper passing points so that we have the ability for multiple trains to run along this particular line. And then we'll see about having a reason for some trains to run along this particular line. There's definitely a bit of space up in the north for stuff to be built. We'll work it out when the time comes. Right now, we are now on our final stretch of the rails. You can see nearly on the map the other end. We are almost joined up, but I believe we run out of rails before we get there. Either way, we're going to be able to finish it, because of course the Megatrain still has a bunch of rails left in it as well, which have turned out to be enough to finish the task. So there we go, we've run out of rails, but we can carry on clearing out the trees, ready for when we do get the rails. And then here's the other end. We'll just go over to the Megatrain, grab a bunch of rails, finish off the straight section, or the horizontal section. The bots will finish off the diagonal for me, and then we just need to make the final join with a bit of curved rail. We'll bring the train along for the straight bit, makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker. And here we are, we'll just run back along here to make sure that the bots get all that done. Let them recharge. I was going to say we're running low on batteries, but I was thinking about living with biters, where we're having a lot of trouble with the personal robot porch just running out of power at the moment. I think I'm going to have some trouble pretty soon with bots just shutting down, because there's no power left in the thing. But anyway, there we go. It's taken 80 hours in 80 episodes, but we have finally made a rail line going all the way around the lake, and we've completely mapped the coastline of it, and most of the internal islands. We've got a little bit more work to do there. So the Megatrain's job is sort of done. It could still be used one more time, well, a couple more times I guess, to build new outposts along the coast, and maybe do some other big rail projects should they be needed, though I don't think there's much more to do really. We've done it, we've gone around the lake, and there's not much further we'll need to journey for a very long time, I imagine. So I run through the middle of the main network with the Megatrain. It goes fairly well. I was expecting there to be horrific shutdowns and the train just blocking everything and causing all sorts of problems. But no, it was actually quite painless, and we arrived back to the bots going absolutely mental, and all setting off at once to deliver the millions of alien artifacts and all of the wood back into the main base, and also deliver me a bunch of random gummins as well as resupply the Megatrain. So the power system is probably going to go fairly crazy for a while, but there's not really that much to do. We only used a couple of different items in the journey. At the end of the day, we used rails, destroyer drones, and ammo, and that was pretty much it. So once that's done, the bots should calm down, and it shouldn't be too difficult, though I have noticed that I caused a little bit of trouble with the rail network there, where I forgot to take out the rear engine. Again, I should have made more room for the Megatrain stuff, really, because it was obviously going to get extended at some point, and there's obviously going to be some need for rear engines. There are already rear cargo wagons. I was going to say 10 of them, but that wouldn't make, I guess 5, whatever, or 1, depends on your definitions. But yes, let's get back to work in the main base. There's a little bit of stuff to sort of catch up on, but mostly everything's alright. At the moment the power system's okay, but we'll see how that goes now that the logistics system is going absolutely mental. I checked in with Iron Outpost 1, which is getting very small at this point. It's quite sad, really. But Iron Outpost 1's time is soon to end, at which point we'll probably start looking for a new Iron Outpost. I don't think I'll get it delivered in from the midpoint, because that's a little bit far. And there are other Iron Outposts, well, Iron Deposits that are quite a bit nearer that we could make some use of. Anyway, back in the main base, I decided to do a little bit more flooring. Last time I left, I think we'd run out of concrete, so I can do a little bit more now. I'll probably just concrete the whole thing eventually, just for the fun of it, and to give the bots something to do. Because, of course, the construction bots are always sad when the Megatrain arrives, because all the logistics bots are going crazy, having loads of fun delivering things around, and the construction bots are just sat around being bored, not having anything to do. So I've given them a job. They've got lots of concrete to place, which will keep them occupied. I have a quick look at the destroyer drones. The chest over there is still empty, but things should have been moving fairly quickly, and I make my way back over to the Megatrain just to see what the situation is. We have nearly 10 full stacks of destroyer drones now. I resupply myself on them and leave the bots to sort all that out, but that is a very good sign. We'll probably never need destroyer drones again. It will be quite difficult at this point to use them up quicker than they're being made, so that's good. We can just leave it with the one assembler, and then like the 20 other assemblers that do all the other stuff. I'm having a look at the radar network, thinking about how we're going to sort of apply it all to the lake. I also just spotted it seemed like there was a new base being built inside the radar network. I didn't pay enough attention because I didn't spot that in the episode, but I believe that there was a group of biters nearby to a newly built base that we're going to build yet another newly built base. So yeah, we'll probably fairly soon have a quick run along the front line and deal with any biter bases that have been built while we've been out. But over in the circuit outpost, I'm surprised to find that it's all fine, actually. I was expecting everything to have gone horribly wrong, because that's usually the case, but it seems like things have held well. And I think there's not that much to do, really. I mean, the destroyer drone system's going pretty constantly, but apart from that, there's not really that much that urgently needs to be done. So the base is actually okay for once. We've managed to get it to a point where it can sort of just run itself, rather than constantly failing. Though I should probably go over and check the oil situation, because that's always going to go wrong until I get a proper sort of self-managing system in there, which I've done in Living with Biters. I can probably do it in a very similar way in this one as well. I just need to get actually round to it. But at that point, the oil system should run pretty well. But anyway, we're going to go up to Iron Outpost 2 because I wanted to build a few more mining drills. Since I arrived like 2 minutes ago, there's already been at least one more mining drill run out. But we're going to get a bit more built here. I think at the moment everything's going okay in terms of the iron supply, but it's good to future-proof this, particularly considering how quickly Iron Outpost 1 is finally wrapping up its work. The very first rail-based ore delivery we had, the train moved like 2 feet from the deposit to the whole column of furnaces, and it's not changed much. It moves a little bit further to get into the proper standardized station that we have, but that particular outpost has supplied us for a very long time, and so has Iron Outpost 2 for nearly as long, really. There wasn't that much time between the two being built relative to how much time there has passed since. It all happened sort of before the science ran out, and it's all run very well. We've used up stupid amounts of iron since, but this outpost is just so ridiculously big that it's kept us going all that time. Which is the reason that I did stuff like ignoring the apple ore and pretending it didn't exist, because there was already a little bit too much in the way of ore as things were, which seems to be a recurring thing with me. I always end up deploying too much ore when I'm sorting out the maps, like I did with towns as well, which leads to sort of having to come up with some sort of strategy of either just like burning through deposits for the fun of it, or like ignoring deposits and pretending they don't exist and stuff like that. Anyway, I've now got miners on the entirety of Iron Outpost 2. We definitely don't need that many, but again, future-proofing. At this point, we could just leave Iron Outpost 2 forever, and it would continue to service us until it just shut down completely, which will probably be never, because there's just so much iron ore there, and probably, I think there's like more left here than there were in Iron Outpost 1 originally, and things like that. But I've already had a quick scout out of the map to see what sort of situation we have with other iron deposits in the area, and it should be fairly easy to extend the rail network a little bit further and make use of those. And we'll also see about maybe adding in some more radars and extending that territory even further, just to keep the biters a very long way away from the entirety of the main base. But yes, in future episodes we'll be going around the lake again. We'll put in a bunch of radars. We'll build a new town or two somewhere up in... I'm calling them towns now. There's so much crossover, so I'm calling things outposts in towns as well. It's terrible. But yes, we'll be building some new stuff around the lake, I think. and getting proper mastery of it, where we actually have the ability to deal with the biters on a more regular basis. But there we go, we've set up a new bit of ore delivery. We've got the new miners that we've got set up to go separately to the other side of the train, which means that if either side runs out, the rest will still be able to work. But anyway, we're done for today, so I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.